So here's my fall garden, and what I want to show you is something that it just kind of surprised the dog out of me. Maybe it will you too, but stick around because this is, I don't know, I would have never thunk it, but it happened. So obviously these are containers, earth boxes, got a nice set of tomatoes in them. But in watering them, I found out something really that surprised me. I say it's unusual. I don't know whether it is or not, but it certainly surprised me. And what I do when I water down the field tube here with an emitter that's a 2-gallon per hour emitter. It's connected to a trunk line here, and I've got a shutoff valve in case something happens to this plant. I can turn it off, and I don't have to water. I don't have to water this earth box if I don't want to. And a lot of people ask me this with either blackberries or any of my containers, how often do you water? Well, first of all, I'm in Texas. If you're not, your mileage may vary on that, how much water your plants need. But I'm in Texas, and typically I water Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and maybe a little bit on the weekend. Maybe on Saturday or Sunday I'll do, instead of giving it 90 minutes, like I say, with a 2-gallon per hour emitter, I turn the timer on 90 minutes. That gives it 3 gallons, and 2.5 to 3 gallons of water will fill up the reservoir in the bottom. So typically, if I give it 90 minutes, I'm pretty much filling it up, and sometimes it'll run over. And if I'm out here then to see it, it'll run over. So, and on the weekends, I'd give it maybe 60 minutes, maybe 2 gallons. I check my emitters from time to time, make sure all of them are doing what they're supposed to do and putting out the right amount of water. But I noticed that some of my plants were getting kind of dry looking. They're not now, but the leaves were kind of curling up, and they just looked like they were thirsty. And I thought, how could that be? I'm watering them every other day, and I'm watering some on the weekends too. I just would never have thought that they were getting dry. So I got a little stick here, just a little bamboo stick. I need a longer one so I can get down in there without bending over, but I started doing tests on it. And I would come back 24 hours after I had watered, drop the stick down, let it hit the bottom, bring it out. Now right there I'm showing about 1 inch of water. So I watered about 20 hours ago, not quite 24, maybe 18 hours ago. And it has sucked up 1 inch or 2 of water. Well, what I found was when I first came out here and realized this, I was going along, they were dry. I mean, they were bone dry. Each and every one of them were bone dry. So I said, well, no wonder they're looking like they're thirsty. So what I've started doing is watering them every day. Now, if it's not hot outside, and this morning it got down to 50 or so, 52, 54, and today's supposed to get up to 80, 82, something like that. So, it's not real hot right now, so they may not need quite as much water, but they are growing vigorously. They're all covered in tomatoes, and I mean, covered in some nice tomatoes. So, and I know tomatoes are mainly water. Some of the bottom ones on here are pretty good size. These are Halcinator. The ones in front there are red snappers, and the tomatoes are probably, I don't know, I think I've heard 90% water, something like that. They obviously a lot of water. And look at that red snapper. It's got a dozen tomatoes on it, various stages of growth, a bunch of little ones coming on. And I've just learned I've got to give them some more water. I've got to give them a whole lot more water, because you don't really want an earth box or a wicking tub to run dry. It loses some of that wicking properties of your soil medium, your mix, your potting mix. If it runs dry, it just kind of like it starts to have to work all over again, beginning the wicking process. So anyway, I'm watering every day now because my plants were definitely getting dry, and I didn't know it. I mean, it surprised the dog out of me. So anyway, check your containers, your earth boxes, if you have earth boxes. Wicking tubs also, if you have wicking tubs. If they start to look a little dry and you're watering often enough in your mind, you may want to make sure that you're watering often enough in reality, not just in your mind. So again, they're all looking good. Now, I may have a problem. The fact that it got down to 50 something this morning, those tomatoes, I don't know. I mean, they'll set fruit at that temperature for sure. It's October the 20th. Am I going to have time to get some fruit, red fruit, before the first frost? Or am I going to have to cover them up and try to save them? I don't know. That will be. There's several cold fronts coming through in the next week or so, but they're all light. You know, not going to get cold. But they are going to probably stunt these tomatoes' growth a little bit because tomatoes love heat. They don't necessarily set fruit when it's real hot, but they love heat. So anyway, will I get tomatoes? I don't know. I'm not a big fan of fried green tomatoes, so don't tell me I need to eat those. I will, but I'm not a big fan of them, and I've got way too many. A whole lot more than I'll eat in the rest of my life probably. So anyway, check your even this time of year, check your containers if you've still got things out here growing, because they might need water. And that's another thing. The only drawback, really, for me, two drawbacks, I guess, for container gardening is the containers are expensive. The potting mix now is expensive. Didn't used to be terribly expensive. It is now. And it's your baby. They can't go down they can't go drill those roots down in the soil and find water. It's your baby. You got to give it, you got to feed it and change its diaper and all that stuff. And to me, that's the only drawback, is you got to stay with these. And if you got something that you want to keep viable all winter, like blackberries, that yes will go dormant, but they still need some water. If you're not getting much rain, then I would, you need to check. I'm not saying blackberries in the middle of winter need a lot of water, but I'm just saying if you don't get water for 3 or 4 weeks, you might want to fill up a container. And of course, these tomatoes are not going to last through the winter, but so I'm not going to have to worry about them. But I have found that I need to look at the blackberries and check them out. And same with raised bed gardening. Those plants are not going to reach down in the soil and get what they need. They're dependent on me. They're little babies that are dependent on me to do and to give them everything that they need. I'm not going to change the diapers, but I will have to give them what they need. So anyway, I just thought I'd warn you, if you're raising in containers, that they get drier quicker than what you think. Again, these got dry every day, run dry every day when it was a little warmer, which is only a couple of weeks ago. We were in the 90s just about every day, and they were getting dry, running dry. As far as I could tell with my little stick, they were running dry every stinking day. So. And you don't want that in a wicking type container. So keep that in mind, and check your water. Check your oil on the car, check your water on your containers. All right, I think that's it. And we're gone.